about 3 years now, and we moved from Des Moines down here because we wanted a big house to bring home grandchildren to stay with us. And so I found this about a year before we actually bought it, and my husband kept saying, I'm not moving out of Des Moines, I'm not moving that far out, until he drove by it one day and peeked in the windows and saw the woodwork in the house. That's all that we needed, was for him to see the woodwork, and so we bought it. It is a big work in progress. We are not done, and we will never be done. As a child, I grew up sewing all my Barbie doll clothes and then into my own clothes. My dad knew my love for sewing, so he found 2 antique sewing machines. Actually, for a while after he's retired, he would refinish antiques, and so he took this all apart and redid the wood and painted the wrought iron on it and everything, and it was my birthday gift one year. My workroom, out of the 30 years plus that I've been in this business, was always in a basement. And one of the requirements I had was that I wanted to look at trees instead of grass. And so I do work in the 3rd story in this house. Okay, I have several guests here today.
We're here today filming Annie and Zona for 2 more courses for the Workroom channel.
We're up in my workroom on the 3rd floor, and I can see out the windows and see the trees. This is where I live a lot of my day. My desk is here and all my sewing machines lined up with my extra table space. This table back here, you'll see that it's been cut out to handle my sewing machine table. This really helps when you're sewing panels. It takes the weight of that panel off your sewing machine. Otherwise, all you have is this little surface right here of your sewing machine for those panels, and we've got at least 3 yards, if not more of that. And I have all my tables, all my sewing machine tables lined up this way with their own little cubby hole cut out. This is my antique, I think, sewing machine. A friend of ours found it in the basement of a Hotel Fort Des Moines, downtown Des Moines, and it's a very old hotel, probably 150 years, 175 years old. And it was in the basement because they used to sew sheets on this. They would hem the sheets for the hotel. And he knew I was sewing off my old Singer home sewing machine and brought it to me, and it is a workhorse. It's my favorite machine. It doesn't have reverse, but it sews perfect, and I can't see a reason to part with it, so I never have. I also have an upholstery machine because I do upholstery and slip covers, and I like it for my pillows. And since this workroom is a little bit smaller than my last workroom, I do have to use a little bit of muscle and slide that out of the way so I can get to my surgery. In Iowa right now, the trend is panels, and I do panels, 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 and that's what I'm going to be teaching tomorrow. But wouldn't you know, this week when Janelle comes to teach, I do not have any panels in my workroom. So my kids are getting new panels. This roller stand that I use to check fabrics in and roll out my lining, and I actually built this myself. So it's PVC piping and a good solid wood and some rollers. And this is my table. I'm a little bit odd. I have a canvas on here, and I draw these lines with a blue ink pen, and I actually have 2 covers because I take mine off and wash it all the time. And then it's all put on with push pins instead of staples because I take it off and wash it. Most of my business is wholesale, probably 80% of it is wholesale, but I do a little bit of retail, so I have a few fabric books. I carry just 2 lines right now because I don't sell enough that anybody else will give me books. This is my little cubby hole back here, and at one time I had a shelf here, and this shelf was over here in front of the window, and there was a lighting system under all of this. And I had probably 40 African violets that I killed all of them. But that's why the lighting system is here. My kids would tease me that the police are sitting outside my window with binoculars wondering what they're growing all night long. Is it plants or is it weed or some funny sort of things? I want to give you a tip about a good item to have in your workroom, and that is a fire extinguisher. I was working up here one day, and my husband had just put in some new lights. And it wasn't his wiring, it was the light itself that started on fire. I heard crackles, and I started smelling smoke and looked up, and one of my lights was on fire. I did not have the fire extinguisher up here that day, but I did run down the stairs where I turned my light off and on, and that did put the fire out. But I think a real good safety item to have in every workroom to save that fabric is a fire extinguisher.